Today we're going to be going over the squatting progression. First, we're going to find a good spine posture. So Brianna's going to go ahead and assess Laura's posture. Perfect. Our next step is to go ahead and find our neutral spine. So Brianna's going to go ahead and help Laura place her feet shoulder width apart. Next, Laura's going to place her hands on her lower back. She's going to feel where her multifidus is, and then she's going to go ahead and shift her weight from one side to another to feel her muscles activate. All right. Next, she will be flexing forward, and then she's going to slowly extend back. And then she's going to stop when she feels her muscles relax. At that point, she has reached neutral spine position. Next, Brianna is going to go ahead and help Laura find her abdominal brace. So Laura is going to place one hand on her back and the other on her abdominal site. She's going to tighten up her abdominal muscles, driving her belly button towards her spine. And Brianna's just going to go ahead and feel to make sure that her abdominals are braced. Next, we're going to be going over the squatting hip hinge. So Laura is kneeling on the ground. This is where we're going to start first. She's going to feel her abdominal brace. Brianna's going to make sure she is in a neutral spine and she maintains that neutral spine. She's in good position, and she's just going to go ahead and lower her hips to her feet, keeping it at a 45-degree angle, maintaining that neutral spine. And that is going to be her first hip hinge. Now we're going to go ahead and move her upright. She's going to stand up, and now we're going to do the hip hinge again, but in our standing position. Maintaining that neutral spine, bracing the abdominals. All right, next we're going to do the reverse box squat. This is to make sure that Laura's knees don't go past her toes. She's going to keep her abdominal brace and her neutral spine. She's going to allow for that hip hinge. Now, usually you would use a box for this method, but we only have a chair in this setting. Lastly, we're going to be doing the stand to sit. So Laura's in her standing position, and then she's going to go ahead and go from that standing position to her squat on the chair. Just again, lightly touching it, maintaining that neutral spine and abdominal brace. Once mastering this technique from standing to sitting position, Laura will be ready for her full squat. All right, and next, Laura's going to go ahead and do the sit to stand. This is again to make sure she has correct form. Brianna's going to go ahead and be monitoring her. She's going to use that hip hinge to just barely touch the chair. All right, so now we went over the squat progression, and he's mastered his squat form. We're going to go over a few variations. The first is going to be the back high bar. This is going to activate the quads more because you are positioned upright, and this shortens the lever arm from the axis of rotation, putting more emphasis on the quad. All right, we're going to go over the back low bar. This is going to put more emphasis on the glutes because the lever arm is lengthened from the axis of rotation. So go ahead and go, Eric. Perfect. As you can see, he's bending forward more. And you want to go ahead and place the bar on the lower end of the upper traps. All right, next is the front squat. This also emphasizes the quads more because you're positioned upright, which decreases the lever arm. So in this movement, it is important that her legs be shoulder width apart and she hold the bar with an overhand grip, and that she position the bar on her upper pectoral muscles and the anterior deltoid. All right, here are some more variations of the squat that were not mentioned in class. Each are unique because they emphasize certain muscle groups. These variations also require more technique. The first we're going to do is the single-legged squat, just going to require the activation of one leg. Perfect. The next will be the overhead squat, which is going to be over his head. He's going to go into squat. Perfect. The next is going to be the sumo back squat. It requires a wide stance with his toes out. Perfect. The next will be the goblet squat. He's going to brace the weight in front of him, and he's going to stay upright, holding it close to his chest. And lastly, it's going to be the kettlebell squat, which is similar to the goblet squat, but it's going to be below his waist.
Hey, Larry.
Oh, hey, Laura.
So I've been experiencing lower back pain, so I want to decrease my pain while doing the squat.
All right, so I'm going to recommend this yoga ball wall squat to take off the load from your lower back while you're squatting, so you'll still be able to squat. What we're going to do is we're going to place the ball against the wall and your lower back, neutral spine, just like we learned, arms out front, and we're just going to squat down. Okay, and so that will take off the load of your lower back and decrease the pain. Go ahead and give it a try. Good, good. And go for 5 reps. 2, 3, 4, and 1. All right, how'd that feel?
Increase my strength in the lower body. How do I do that?
To train for strength, you're going to want to train with a rep maximum of 4 to 8 with 3 to 5 sets with a rest of 2 to 3 minutes in between. So you can do that with a deadlift, but in our case, we're going to use a squat.
So what exercise can I do to burn more calories?
An exercise you can do to burn more calories is you'd want to do a compound exercise, and so the one I would recommend is a back squat. That's going to require a lot of calories to be burned.
So I also want a bigger butt. How do I attain that?
So an exercise that will target the butt in the squat would be a low bar back squat. It's going to lengthen the lever arm from the axis of rotation, putting more emphasis on the glutes.